What it is, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, or happy stopping the violence to Indigenous Peoples Day up here in Canada. This is your boy Dave, and welcome to another edition of the Third Intermission Podcast. It's the holiday edition, so if you're enjoying your turkey, or if you're a vegetarian, you're enjoying something else. We're just glad you're enjoying it with us. You can follow us on the socials at Toronto Third, both on Twitter and on Instagram. And you can listen to us and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts from. That includes Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and our friends at Podbean. Got a little bit of a short one for you today. So we got the Hood General himself, or we got the Yad General himself, Mr. Jason Fresh. Let him know what's fresh. Jason, you there? Okay, so while we're working that out right now,
wait, I'm here. I just had to unmute myself, bro. Yeah, yo, Wagwan people. happy Give Thanks weekend. Enjoy your turkey, your family, and your friends, all these good things, good vibes. Every day, Wagwan.
Yes, of course. You also kind of took that from me too, but I'll be thankful for that. The right hand of the king is also in the building as well. Avery, what's up? How are we doing out in Edmonton today?
Not much. Doing well. Getting ready for the holiday here at that time of this taping. Back in the saddle, tape another episode of Third Intermission. Season 5 is going strong, sir.
It is what it is. Let's get it. All right. So, like I said, we got a short one for you today, so you don't have to hear from us too long, but you can enjoy your turkey or your leftovers while you're still listening to us. So, of course, Leafdom, of course, have played themselves a good few games over the last weekend. Their biggest win of note right now, their home opener back on Saturday against the Pittsburgh Penguins, and it was a very clear indication that Toronto was just cycling through from the jump, and they basically manhandled Pittsburgh. It was a very strong and a very solid game through and through. And the fact that Marner was scoring, Nylander was scoring, Domi was just lighting it up well on the ice, both like with and without the puck, and just basically embarrassing man's left, right, and center. Stolarz was stellar in net all night long, and the defense core was just on point. Of course, goaltending was a little bit shaky, obviously with the 2 goals that were scored, but you know what? Toronto did its thing, and I'm very proud of what they did. But what are your thoughts, guys?
I'll say, first of all, again, that we knew Nylander and Marner would step up in regular season. They always do. That's a big thing. And it's going to be a big thing as the rest of the season continues, getting those guys, putting up the big numbers. But also, Anthony Stolarz, he's proven after a few games here that he's a solid goaltender. Need a chance once again to be the number 1 guy somewhere else. What's going to happen in Florida? He's been very effective in net so far for the first couple of games here for the Maple Leafs. And I do want to say that in that 4-2 win over the Penguins look old. The Penguins look like an old and tired hockey team now in the Eastern Conference. And the Leafs showed that they are the better franchise, and they showed that that window in Pittsburgh is closing even more so to even be a playoff team. But no, those are kind of games that against teams like Pittsburgh that are older and slower, you have to find a way to get the win. And Toronto got a very convincing win in my mind.
They very significantly did. Of course, like you said, like Pittsburgh is starting to, I guess, not decay, but just rust in not only in their style of play, but also just in the hustle. Because looking, with the exception of Crosby, it's like you're seeing Letang, Malkin, even Raquel, like they're slowing down. They're slowing down significantly. Of course, Letang and Raquel did both end up scoring for Pittsburgh. They had a really tough time keeping up with like Toronto's aggressiveness and Toronto's speed throughout the entire game. There were like a lot of odd man rushes and a lot of like breakaways off of Toronto, like off of just Toronto's aggressiveness alone. Like, I mean, that goal from Domi to Nylander, like that was just spot on excellent from Toronto. Like say like good puck cycling, good puck play, and just basically taking the body in that. And like when that goal was happening, it was just outright crazy. Um, Toronto's power play was cycling through very well, taking good shots on net and everything. It looked like Pittsburgh's penalty killing unit was just really soft throughout the entire game, and they weren't significantly like just trying to find chances to score, which was like, and given the amount of talent that Pittsburgh has, it's very eye opening to see something like that. So it's very significant to see Toronto just pull out the win like that and just just basically turn it on a dime. And it looks like whatever Berube's saying in the locker room, whatever he got through to them with during training camp is like significantly helpful. But Jason, what are your thoughts on this?
Going back to like the first game of the season, like up to now, like the first game they got like goalied, like, and that happens in the NHL. Like they had like 47, 48 shots on goal, but they couldn't find the back of the net. I thought they played pretty well. They had their chances and opportunities, but there was a better goalie on the other end, and he wanted it more. Montembeau played very well. That type of loss is nothing to be upset about. It's about how you recover after you lose. And they walked into New Jersey, Sheldon Keefe against an old coach, and they dominated that game. Like, as far as the structure that Berube has these guys playing and the system, it's like all the forwards, all the defensemen, they bought into it. Everybody's finishing checks. You can see the pace and intensity. Pacioretty got his first in New Jersey. Lawrence scored a beautiful backhander, top shelf. Like you have to look at the fourth line and the way they're playing with pace, and they're playing aggressive on the forecheck. And, the back end breaking out passes has just been amazing. Chris Tanev is such a gem to have on the back end. And it's so calming now that we actually have a legitimate, top two defenseman to play with Morgan Rielly. You can see that, although Riley's not scoring as much as he was scoring, he's more relaxed on the ice, and he's able to move the puck up with Tanev, and you could see the addition of OEL, Ekman Larson, just making such a huge difference on the back end. And to see that, in the middle of and at times during the New Jersey game and in the Pittsburgh game, that you see OEL like go on the first unit, whether it be for like 10 seconds or like what happened in Pittsburgh where he got subbed in like mid-game, like on the first unit on the power play. You see the difference when he is on that PP1 as far as moving the puck and putting the puck into the right place and putting the puck on net to let the forwards bang around and try to jam it in. Now, that is the one weakness I see with the Maple Leafs is the power play. They're like 0 for like 5 million right now. On the power play, they've got to fix it. They've got to simplify it. Berube is saying like constantly that these guys are being too cute with the puck, like they're trying to walk the puck in the net. They got to stop all that bullshit and just shoot the puck on the net and try and get some greasy goals. You have to get the greasy goals because the greasy goals are going to win you tight games. So just improve on the power play. The back end is fine. And I'm impressed in the system and the structure that they're playing. Like, to see Matthew Nye score his first goal on home ice this season. And you know who was behind that goal? Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner tied up Pedersen's stick. Matthews came in and banged it. Matthew Nyes came in and banged it in. Austin Matthews, as the captain, has been flying. The Pittsburgh game, I think he had like 6-7 shots on goal. Like, it's only a matter of time before he starts to score. And you know what happens when he starts to score. He scores in bunches. So, I'm very optimistic about the boys. They're playing north and south. No more of this left to right skating with the puck. Try to put it between your legs and skate around the defenseman. They're just trying to move the puck up and put it on net. I like what I see so far. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. I just hope Wall gets better. I heard he was practicing today. It's unfortunate. Nick Kiprios, this guy is a weirdo. Like, God bless him, but he's a weirdo. Like, injuries happen in sports, he's supposed to be our number one. To me, like, it's Stolar's crease, but Wool is our projected number one, if that makes sense. And you know, some guys sometimes have bad luck with injuries and being hurt. But like the way Nick Kyprios is bashing this guy, like it's just like uncalled for. Like find something better to do. Like that was just like a terrible take. Like I hope the Wall gets better and you know he comes back and he shuts up all the haters, man.
I'm telling you, man, the Broadview Wall is only as strong as Broadview Avenue. You know what I mean? But that's just twisted of me to say. I'm sorry. I really do hope he gets better. But it'd be nice to see him in between the pipes again, and you know, just dominate and be the goaltender we need him to be. But at the same point in time, you know, I'm very happy that Stellars is starting to get some wins. Dennis Hildeby actually picking up a win in New Jersey, shockingly enough. That was significant in itself as well. And you know, the fact that he wasn't able to call his family and tell them like, hey, you know, I'm starting today was kind of crazy. But you know, he was actually able to call them post game and be like, hey, yeah, I got my first win and everything. It was super cool. And, you know, it was a really great moment for him.
Yeah, he played well in that game, Dave. Not to cut you off, he played well in that game. He'll be the beast. Like he played well. He was very composed in that game in New Jersey. And he was dominant at times. He made some key saves on the PK, you know, which is another bright spot for the Leafs. And I'm happy that he was able to get his first win, man. That's impressive. And, you know, he has a bright future as well as a goaltender for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
He really does. And, you know, it's very significant to see what's coming up in the pipeline. Of course, the Leafs do have a couple more games. To Wednesday, they do have the Kings. Saturday, they do have the Rangers as well. Looking at their schedule right now. It's the Kings on Wednesday. Saturday, it's the Rangers, and then the next week, Tampa Bay's in town, and then they'll go on the road for a little bit. So, big things to come for the Leafs now. Like, you know, obviously we have some great tests coming up. Of course, Quinton Byfield coming into Toronto for the first time this season. Hopefully, you know, he gets a taste of what it's like to play for not only one of the biggest markets in the world, but also at the same point in time, you know, we let him know what's good. Hopefully there's some representation for him as well back home. And then, of course, the one team in the Metro that everyone's looking at in the New York Rangers with Igor Shesterkin between the pipes as well. That's going to be a good goaltending duel between him and hopefully Stellars or Hildeby, depending on whether Berube decides to go with one or the other, and if Wall's not back in time. So very poignant matches to watch out for later on this week. Just to ask you guys some questions here, like real talk, like what have you liked so far in regards to, like, say, the first 3 games? Like, is there anything else you wanted to see? Is there anything that really kind of pissed you off about how the Leafs have been doing over the last little bit? And then we may extend that to the Oilers as well, considering the Oilers are now 0-3 at the time of this recording after getting slapped by Calgary on Saturday night. Let me rephrase that, Sunday night.
For me, like, what I like is the fact that these guys all bought into the Berube system, you know, which is like play hard hockey, you know, take the body, dish it out, forecheck, attack. Like I like that part. Like I was saying earlier, the only thing that I don't like is the power play is not clicking right now. You know what I'm saying? I like the fact that Marner looks different. He looks like he's not only playing for a contract, but he's playing to win. Now the question is, will this transition into the postseason? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But like right now, I like the way Mitch Marner is moving. He's attacking. He's moving the puck. He's engaged. I like, my favorite part about this team this year is the back end. Like, I have so much confidence in our back end. As far as Tanev being there, OEL being there, you know, McKay being there, you know. What they do with Liljegren, I don't know. They just kind of got to figure that part out. I would hope that they would dish out Liljegren and maybe get like a legit center, like a Blake Coleman type guy, like, you know what I mean? Someone who has that pedigree of winning a championship, someone who can kill penalties, and push people like down the lineup, which is what you need to win a cup, like, being strong in the middle. But yeah, so far I'm impressed with this team, man. The things I don't like is the fact that we're not able to score on the power play. Like, we're trying to walk the puck in the net. Nah, brethren, just shoot the puck on net and jam it in the back of the net, brethren. Like, what do you mean, man? You don't have to make everything look pretty and highlight real type. Sometimes you just need a goal, man.
Mm-hmm. Avery, what about you?
I like the bounce back after the opening night loss to Montreal, a night in which Toronto threw everything at the Montreal net. They threw the kitchen sink, they threw the bathtub, they threw the bidet, they threw your granny's denture at the man. Like everything they threw towards Montreal net couldn't get past Samuel Montembeault. They came back, two big wins against New Jersey and against Pittsburgh. That kind of response after being shut out, I thought was a major indication that could show what a team's character is made of, to not get too down, not let that linger on and carry over. Their response to those two big games, I was really impressed by, guys.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with it myself. Obviously, the Montreal game was not really a great indication of things to come. But of course, it's the first game. Everyone has those preseason jitters of just what have you. And of course, that one based off of like just that one goal loss, even though Toronto had 47 shots on net. Um, I guess it's one of those things where it was just like it was a growing pain, and you know what, growing pains do happen. Growing pains are part of the process, right? Because without winning a championship, there's no growth. And obviously for Leaf fans, it's been like 60, almost 60, 55, 60 years where it's been nothing but continuous growing pains. But you know what? That's part of the process. And ideally right now, like I do like where Toronto is heading. I would like to see a little bit more conversion off of power plays. I would like to also see, like, say, if they can find a home for Liljegren. Of course, now that Liljegren's the odd man out in this situation, do we send him down? Do we trade him off for like pieces or like what have you, right? Because like it really does suck that he's managed to make something of himself here in Toronto, but unfortunately now that like say he can no longer crack a roster spot, it's like, do you keep him as a healthy scratch? Do you send him somewhere that needs help? Like for example, San Jose does need defensive help, especially with Mackenzie Calabrini just jumping on the ice, and now that he's injured, it's like okay, there's a potential roster spot open there. Could you send Liljegren off to say Utah? Perfect segue into our next segment, actually. He could we send him off there? So many different factors in this situation. So like, it's really nice to see what's coming through and what to expect over the next little while. A lot of questions still need to be answered, but obviously it's only been the first week. And hopefully, we can try and pinpoint what's going on and see if we can see if the Leafs can make things work going forward here. Speaking of Utah's currently on a 3-0 hot start after moving from Phoenix, or let me rephrase that, moving from Glendale. And this is a very poignant thing because it really does show that the state of Arizona really did hate hockey. Yes, it did. And now that this team's thriving elsewhere, it's like, what else can you expect? What's been surprising for you guys about this team so far?
I wouldn't say I'm shocked by. I wouldn't say I'm too shocked by anything. I mean, if you watch Arizona the past couple of years, you could see it coming with Ramelka, with Logan Cooley, with Dylan Gunther, with
Mm-hmm.
Clayton Keller. You knew this team was gonna break out. You knew this team was going to turn the corner and eventually break out now as Utah HC. But again, Arizona, it wasn't an Arizona hates hockey thing. This was Alex Morello is a giant idiot thing. This is a man who could have had the world, could have kept hockey in Arizona, but was a complete clown show who deserves eggs thrown at him for the next 50 years of his life, walking through Arizona for how he ruined the Coyotes in terms of them staying in the States. But
Yeah.
I digress. This is a team that I really think is going to end up being a postseason team. I think the team is really going to have a shot at the postseason if they can stay hot in the Central Division. A lot of these guys are playing. They're playing clear-headed, clear-minded. They know their future right now is in a good spot. And of course, not to bash the fine fans of Arizona, not to disparage anyone in Arizona who went and supported that team for years upon end. Right now in Utah, there's some level of stability there, so they can play with a clear mind. And these are going great right now for them. But I think that the top four unit right now of Arizona is fun to. I'm sorry, of Utah. Either of Utah is fun to watch, and I think they can find a way to get a wild card spot in the Central Division. I think there's an opening to get in and beat out, say maybe St. Louis, even Minnesota, to get a spot in that division. I really do believe in that Utah club, and maybe even possibly not just getting in, but maybe winning a playoff round. I think there's a chance for them to do that.
Well, I mean, if these guys can come up with a decent team name, say hopefully before the playoffs start, like again, like I wouldn't mind cheering for this team. It's just Utah Hockey Club does not sound so great or appealing
Well,
as a hockey fan, but that's just me.
I just find it weird how are the I mean, I understand that the Winnipeg, you what the name was going to be when it was Winnipeg Jets from Atlanta Thrashers. They got that sorted out in what, 5-ish months in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Why does Utah HC again need an extra year to sort out a name? And actually, I think it was Clint Keller. Clint Keller in an interview pretty much leaked that's going to be the Utah Yetis. So if he knows that, and if indications coming out that it's going to be the Utah Yetis, why do you need an extra year to confirm, hey, we're going to be the Utah Yetis? If that's what's coming out, it's pretty much going to be.
Right? Like that's the other messed up thing too, because it's like if you have a name, why not just jump on it already? Like you can literally just let the league office know, like, hey, call the patent office, call the U.S. Patent Office, tell them like, hey, the Utah Yetis has already been taken as a name, and then bam, there you go, you got your team name right then and there. But like it's openly ridiculous that it's taking this long. I don't know, man. That's just messed up even for me. Unfortunately, with how things are going, right? Why it's taken this long is beyond me. But hey, capitalism is capitalism in this case. So you know what?
Well,
Whatever.
it's just poor management, bro. Because that should have been, yo, bro. You knew this was coming, bro. You guys should have been prepared. The preparation wasn't done properly for this whole facilitation of the switching of the transferring of the teams from Arizona to Utah. Like you knew this was gonna happen. You guys should have been ready and prepared, bro. That city doesn't deserve that. That city deserves a name for that hockey club. That is gonna be one of the most that club is gonna be fun to watch this season. If you looked at all their games, like in the highlights, like those guys are exciting. And they got better in the offseason. They added Sergachev, they added a couple more pieces, and that core that they have down there, it's young, but it's growing. And like what Avery was saying, it's coming together. Like that is my like wild card to make the playoffs this season is the Utah Hockey Club. You know what I'm saying? Because those guys have all the pieces. They added Sergachev on the back end. You know that guy has a championship pedigree. He's been there. He knows what it takes to win, and he's there to groom and guide the other defensemen down there, and they're only going to get better with time, bro. Like, I think they have a good spot at a wild card if they keep up the pace that they're going with right now, man, in my opinion.
Mm, of course. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can keep up this hot pace. Who knows? Maybe they could actually even manhandle the Central themselves. So let's see. Let's see how this goes. Like while we're on the topic of rookies, considering Utah is a rookie team in this in say certain senses, um, who's impressed you so far based off of the rookie class of this year? Avery, I'll start with you.
I know it's only been a game or two, and I know you've banged up now, but I think Macklin Celebrini comes in, has a beautiful Beautiful goal in his first game here. So I really am looking forward to what more he can do when he's healthy again with San Jose. My first impression of his first game was all right, this kid's got something. This kid's showing me his ability to centerman on a team that's rebuilding, on a team that's playing for the long-term future. And if he can sustain, if he's able to again be the guy with a nose to net, be a playmaker who can come back again and be that 60, 70 point guy for the Sharks or even higher, I think that's gonna be a good sign for him coming in this season here. Might not be a Calder winner depending on how his injury status is, but if he can come back in a few weeks here, ready again to roll for the Sharks, I think he's gonna be in here.
Jason, what about you?
As far as like the rookies that's impressed me this season so far, it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to say, but I'm gonna ride Avery's wave there because that like setup that he did on the first one there was crazy, bro. Like that yeah, that guy is gonna like yeah when he's back in and he's doing all the right things as a rookie, bro.
Hmm.
Oh, we knew this, and this is why Mike Greer shout him out still. But this is why Greer got to Foley and guys to play around him so that he's able to nurture his talent and develop and become the best like player that he can be. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a lock for the rookie of the year. I don't see anybody catching him, and I don't see anybody
Yeah.
this class on his level. Like this guy is just yeah, he's gonna be good for a very long time, in my opinion. It's kind of hard to go around him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Unfortunately, Rutger McGroarty got introduced to the NHL in a very embarrassing way against Max Domi on Saturday night. When, of course, McGroarty was trying to go after the puck, and Domi kind of basically just ran a route on him, or no,
Yeah,
juked him a bit, and
yeah,
just slipped up and looked stupid.
yeah. He
Uh,
gave him the stutter step. Yeah, yeah. He made that guy slide into the boards.
I feel bad too because McGroarty is is from like my dream school in the States, University of Michigan. And he was drafted from there, or no, sorry, he was basically signed on from there. And, I kind of was hoping, maybe he'd have a decent showing, but to be embarrassed like that, obviously it's one of those things where you're going to have to deal with that, especially in your first season. But damn, was that embarrassing. Man. Um, I'm gonna say finish the triangle here and say Calabrini is definitely a lock for the Calder. I don't think anybody else is touching him. Just to piggyback off of what you guys are saying, of course, yes, he is on the IR right now for a few weeks, but when he comes back, he is going to light up the lamp like nobody's business. While he is currently on the injured reserve list, like there are some other names you can look into. McGroarty is one, Justin Wolf is another out in Calgary. Who else would there be? Like say Tyler Clevin in Ottawa, Matt Rempe, I guess homeboy who decided to fight his way into the NHL. He's going to get his first look in a full season for having a full season with the Rangers. Maxim Siplikov with the Islanders. Hopefully he can get it. Hopefully he can get something going. Right now, the next few weeks are just essentially establishing who's going to be number two within the rookie rankings and who can say make an impact for like say second place in Calder Trophy voting. But obviously there's some significant names out there. I know there's a rookie on Edmonton's roster, isn't there, Avery?
In terms of rookie, none right now. There's no anyone's gonna be in the Calder race for rookies for Edmonton. Not anybody's gonna be on that level. But I'm surprised you didn't mention Matvey Michkov in Philadelphia. He's someone who I think if anyone is gonna really challenge Bedard, it's gonna be him in Philadelphia. That's someone who I think on right wing. He's already been hyped. If you follow the Flyer system, he's someone who's been hyped for quite some time coming out of Russia. That I think right there will be the toughest challenge for Celebrini when it comes to the Calder Trophy.
Of course. Well, I'm excited to see how this is going to play out. I I honestly just want to see They just want to see some good hockey, as do the rest of you guys, right?
Yeah, no, Avery, just to piggyback on you again, man, that guy in Philly is gonna do some damage too, because Torts is I like the way Torts is dealing with him still down there, because it's like he's trying to like tell him that he doesn't need to be cute all the time. There's gonna be a time and a place for that. Just kind of like what Berube is doing in Toronto is what's happening in Philly, and you could see the impact that he's making on games. But I still like who the Sharks drafted, and I think he has more potential. But dude in Philly has potential too, so it might be close. But I'm still gonna stick with dude in San Jose, just because I feel he has that advantage and that pep in his step.
All right. Now, obviously, with the positive does come the negative. Of course, we are looking at coaches that could be potentially on the hot seat right now. I don't see anybody like particularly ready to like say even be on the hot seat at this point, considering we're only a week in. I mean, Spencer Carberry maybe, but like even then, it's like it's still too early to tell. Like I don't fully see anybody readily available to like say get shot out of a cannon into unemployment, especially in the NHL, considering like what it's only been 2, 3, 4 games in. But even then, it's like it's still particularly early. But like Avery, I know you have your ears to the ground in regards to the situation.
Yeah, no, it's still very early in terms of anyone losing their job. But I think when we look back on this, say, game 20, game 25, someone who I've been watching quite a bit. A team I'm watching in terms when it comes to a change, I think is going to be in Detroit. I think with Derek Lalonde, because we see in the wings and their Eiserman plan, this is a team that wants to take the next step, wants to get back to the postseason in the Eastern Conference. And I think if we're still talking about Detroit come game 25, 30, not turning that corner, then I think Derek Lalonde's job might be in jeopardy. As of right now, again, too early to make a definitive case, but if Detroit doesn't pick it, if Detroit isn't wowing me by game 20, 25, game 30. And I mean, I do think Detroit will turn the corner. There have been signs that this team has the ability to do that, even though it's been very stop-startish in Detroit. If it's another year in which Detroit does come out by game 25, game 30, and they're still in that half gear stage, then I do think Derek Lalonde will be a guy who you might want to make a change for by the All-Star break, I think.
I
Jason,
can't
thought?
I can't see anyone like getting like fired coaching wise right now. It's like what you guys said, it's way too early in the season. We'd have to assess that like around probably game 25, game 30, and see where teams are sitting in order to like make an assessment there. There are bodies out there, and yeah, if coaches are not performing the way they're supposed to perform, then yeah, they're gonna get replaced. But it's way too early in the season. We're only like 3-4 games in. Like, gotta wait till the game 25, game 30 to like really like look at the standings and see where teams are sitting. You know what I mean? And then go from there. Like Bruce Boudreau is still out there. You know, he's a good coach. You know, so like you never know. Like, right? You never know.
Well, we'll wait a few weeks and then we'll ask this question again and we'll come back to it. Last question for the day, and then obviously we'll just cut this one. But we never really got to talk about our predictions for the playoffs this season, or for this year, did we? So I pose this question to the both of you, and then I'm going to give you my prediction as well. Who's our dark horse? Who's our dark horse pick for making the playoffs this year outside of Utah? Obviously, who do you think is going to underperform? Who wins the Atlantic? Who wins the Metro? Who wins the Central? Who wins the Pacific? You know, who's our wild card team? You know, you can go any which way in this given situation, but Avery, I will start with you. Who's your dark horse for this year?
Who is my dark horse this year? Okay, and I'm not gonna mention Utah. I'm gonna go a little bit interesting here. I'm gonna say the Seattle Kraken. I think the Kraken, a team that they had a down year. We saw they let go of Dave Hackstall. Dan Bylsma's in there. Thinking about this core, I do think Seattle finds a way back into the postseason again. Now with Jordan Eberle as captain, I do believe in Seattle finding a way to get into the Pacific Division, which is really in the Pacific, outside of say really, I know was taping. You got Vegas at 3-0, Edmonton 0-3, but that division is always so volatile that you can't definitively say anything is a lock in that division. So I'm going to say my dark horse is going to be the Seattle Kraken getting into a playoff spot.
All right. Who do you think is going to underperform in regards to like say playoff contention? Because like obviously we've got 16 teams going in. We can't say the Leafs for sure because it's way too early for that. And Jason, get your thoughts on that in a minute. But like who else do you think would be the potential like underperformer going into the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Underperformer, man. I know they've lost pieces, of course, but man, I think they're always going to be a team that's going to be a threat going into it. But when it comes to actually performing come crunch time, I'm going to see underperformers going to be Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't see the Lightning being a true performer when we get to April and May. I think that Lightning window, it was a fun run. It was a fun run for them as one of the elites of the Eastern Conference. But I think when it comes to the postseason, I think they're going to be a team that's going to underperform come next spring.
I can see that happening because it's like, you know what, they've lost a lot of significant pieces. Of course, they're starting to become an aging core, and of course, their franchise player and Steven Stamkos is now playing in Nashville of all places. Very, very interesting to see if Tampa Bay even does make the playoffs this year. Of course, a lot of Lightning fans would like to disagree with that, but of course, right now, their minds are kind of currently preoccupied on Hurricane Milton and the cleanup. But I'd say going forward, like Tampa Bay does have the possibility of actually, making a success story out of things and, making a nice little, I guess, good for the soul type of run. But I don't see them going any further than, say, potentially first round, second round. And that's if they make it this year. Jason, I'll dash it off to you. What do you think?
What do I think, bro? Yo, Toronto,
who's your dark horse and then who's your underperformer?
I'm just thinking to myself, I'm going to get slaughtered by my virgins then.
Oh
boy.
Yeah, I'm going to get slaughtered. These guys are going to slaughter me, bro. But I kind of like Ottawa, bro. I kind of like Ottawa. Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm going to get slaughtered.
I feel it, though. I'm dark horse.
Ottawa still, no, they have like one of the most greasiest lines in hockey right now. Nick Cousins, David Perron, and Ridley Gregg. I watched that line in preseason, and that is a disgusting line of just nastiness, bro. And then when you have guys like Tim Stützle, and you have guys like Drake Batherson, and you have guys like Shane Pinto, and the captain, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then the back end Sanderson, Thomas Chabot, like this is, yeah, bro. And then they sign. Oh man, yeah. I'm gonna get slaughtered for saying this, bro. But yeah, Ottawa is gonna get in. The way that general manager over there is building that team, he's trying to build a contender over there still. And the battle of Ontario is just gonna become more intense. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Ottawa for sure. I'm gonna stick with that. Ottawa. As far as a team that's gonna underperform in the playoffs, I think that Dallas losing Chris Tanev is gonna hurt them. I think that although Chris Tanev is aging, That's the type of defenseman you need on your team if you're going to compete for a cup. And Dallas lost that. So I'm going to say the Dallas Stars. They'll get through the first round barely. I don't think they'll get through the second round. They will underperform in the playoffs. When you have to look at the teams in the past couple of years that won cups, and you got to look at the back end. And there was always like one star defenseman on the back end who played big minutes, blocked shots, handled the forecheck, got the puck out, killed penalties, and even helped score goals and scored goals themselves, bro. You know what I'm saying? Dallas has that one star, but that star, he doesn't have the Chris Tanev DNA. And that's what's going to hurt them. It's going to be their back end come playoff time. So Ottawa's going to sneak in the playoffs. I'm going to get slaughtered. I know.
I rock with it though, Jason. I rock with Ottawa. And also, too, you didn't mention the fact that, too, Ottawa has Elias Olmark. That's kind of goaltender that can... That's kind of guy. Elias Olmark in your net, that can help you in a major way in the Eastern Conference. That is the kind of guy you want to go into a postseason series with. We've seen him before in Boston, what he can do for the Bruins.
Yeah, no doubt, Avery. No doubt. Yeah, Ottawa. I'm going to get beat up for saying this. Not beat up, but yeah, these guys are going to slaughter me still. You're not a fan. Yeah, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it.
Could you have common sense?
Here's the thing. Like, as a Leafs fan, like, I'm kind of just like, I'm kind of stunned, but like, you know what? Like, after you literally just made your points, like, I kind of have to be inclined to agree with you. Like,
bro, like, yeah, I'm gonna get slaughtered for it, bro. But like, fuck,
who
man.
cares?
It's the truth. It's the truth, though, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're gonna be scary, bro, because they have that factor in them where they can be so unpredictable, like to the point where like you don't know how to handle them because they have the finesse, they have the goaltending, like Avery touched upon. They have like 4 solid fucking lines that could do damage, like at any given moment. You know, they have a good coach. You know, like if they just clean it up, yeah, they could put something together. Like I like them more than I like Montreal. I'll say that much. You know what I mean? Like Montreal's all right. They started good, but the thing with Montreal is that like they can never keep pace. Yeah, they added Line, but what hurts them is what happened to him. You know, him not being in the lineup. Like now, these couple of games are the most important games of the season because it's gonna predetermine how you play the rest of the season. You know what I mean? So this is where the habits from preseason you take into the regular season, and then you work to improve on those habits, and you clean up empty places where you try to put new habits and improve on those new habits. You know what I'm saying? And you fix old habits like the power play. So the Leafs, yeah, you got to be able to have that factor. Every team in hockey has to be able to have that factor. We'll see what happens, but Ottawa for sure. Dallas underperforming in the playoffs.
You know, I kind of agree with that. Honestly, like I said, just as a Leafs fan, it's kind of a little blasphemous to hear something like that. But you know what? Like, you touched on some very good points, and like Ottawa does seem deadly this year. So, you know,
brother, that third line is insane. David Perron, he's a cup champion. So he was on the Blues team when they won the cup.
Yeah.
And that guy had, I think, Avery, didn't he win an award that season too? David Perron? Was that the season he won the scoring award or something like that? I don't know. He won something that season.
I have to check to make sure what award Perron won, but I do believe he was at least nominated for an award, I believe.
Nominated, yeah. I'm not sure if he won an award, but like he was having like a career type season under Craig Berube. After they started super slow, you know what I'm saying? They started super slow, then Binnington got hot. That could happen. That wasn't no fluke. That shit's happened before. But David Perron helped the Blues win that cup. You know what I'm saying? Like he was a very important piece. Now he's coming to Ottawa to play with Nick Cousins, who just won a Stanley Cup, and Ridley Gregg, who's coming into the league. So you have 2 rats and a bully on a line, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
Well,
Crazy, man.
I mean, I honestly am excited for this. For me, it's really hard to say who our dark horse could be, but I mean, like, I could probably say Montreal. Um, given the, I guess, given the fact that they've been able to just come out with a hot start with Sam Montembeault between the pipes and everything. Yes, I know. Don't kill me for this one because it's, you know what, like we just won Ottawa on this one, all right? No, like, stop playing.
I'm gonna turn this to one and go, what do you have? What are you asking me right now?
Listen, I can say Boston to make it 10 times worse. But, like, you know what, you gotta recognize where things are turning around here. Martin St. Louis is obviously going to turn Montreal around into a powerhouse, and it's only a matter of when, but not. It's only a matter of when at this point, not if. That Montreal goes back into the Stanley Cup playoffs. Ideally, I don't want to face them till at least round 2, but. Listen, Jason, shut your ass mouth right now, because, like, if you can see in our group chat right now, like, Jason's losing his mind, losing his absolute mind about this whole thing, and it's like, you know what? I don't blame him. It's hurting my soul saying this as a Leaf fan, but you know what? Like, if we could say Ottawa in this situation as a dark horse situation, you gotta put Montreal in the same conversation. Like, if you can't see it that way, then, like, yo, 2-2s, there's something.
Man.
Tell me exactly where the fuck I'm wrong here.
Oh, man.
Tell me where I'm wrong.
Why did you say Boston? If you said Boston, I'd be okay with that. This guy said Montreal. I had to pick one of the lesser evils, bro.
Yo, you picked Ottawa. That's just a strong evil in that situation, just the same.
It is, bro. But, like, it's the lesser of the two evils, bro. You picked
it's not even the lesser of the two. It's the lesser of the 5 at this point.
The darkest one, bro. Holy smokes!
Yo, they don't call me the Prince of Darkness for nothing, guy. What is this? I was waiting for Avery's response on that one, but that's terrible. Anyways, now.
All right, man. All right.
No, real talk though. I do see where the confliction is, especially as a Leafs fan, but at the same point in time, like I said, game's got to recognize game in the situation. And you know what? If Montreal can find a way to turn things around, I do see them sneaking in probably as, like, say, number 3 in the Atlantic, or maybe the first wild card spot. Like, obviously Tampa Bay still has the opportunity to do so, and Florida, even though being the current reigning defending Stanley Cup champions right now, I don't know if they can sneak into the playoffs considering how they are right now without Barkov. And even then, it's like, can they will themselves back to at least a decent playoff position? Like, I mean, yes, it's extremely early, but I do see Montreal actually tearing it up right now. Obviously with Gallagher and of course with Nick Suzuki right now, just basically just dominating as it is. But actually, wait, Suzuki's not on the roster, is he? Someone want to fact check that for me real quick? Because I don't want to be out here.
Referring to Nick Suzuki?
Yeah.
Montreal. Yeah, he's on the roster with Montreal. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because, like, I don't want to be out here like a certain presidential candidate out here. So.
Oh, with that being said.
Well, I mean, again, I ain't finished yet.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, again, like I said, Montreal is doing some damage right now, right? So, I mean, they've won 2 out of the last 3 games. Of course, Cole Caulfield, obviously lighting it up right now. He scored twice against Ottawa back on Saturday, and you know what? Like I said, like, Montreal is a very dangerous team, given the right motivation.
Yeah, Lane Hudson too, man. That guy, he's skating around like fucking what's his face, like Ray Bork, bro. That's who that guy's skating around like right now. Like, holy smokes! Like, yo, Montreal. I'm not gonna be a hater. They should be excited about that guy. That guy is one of, like, he has good edge work. Not only does he have good edge work, but, like, I'm not gonna come. Sorry, I'm not gonna compare him to like Makar, but he has like that type of like skating offensive ability, but still has the mindset to like play defense. You know what I'm saying? And that kid is gonna be good for years. Lane Hudson, man, and it looks like the Slovakian version of Pierre Engvall, but just with a little bit
Slavkowski.
more,
Yeah.
with more, with more scoring touch. Like he's starting to come around, bro. Like you know what I'm saying. And then that top line in Montreal, Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slav. Like that's a dangerous first line. And then the power play is like actually clicking because now Kirby Dack would be the fourth forward on that, like, and then Lane Hudson manning the point. Like, that's insane, bro. Like, and then when Line comes, like, what are you gonna do? Run a 5-man power play? Like, I don't know. Like,
No, trust me.
yeah, like Montreal. Like, listen, I don't like Montreal. I'm not mad at you, bro, for saying Montreal, but like, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room, bro. Like, I don't like Montreal, but the team is, they're I don't think they're ready yet, but if Martin St. Louis, a former winner, can give these guys the knowledge and the understanding and the tools to be able to utilize throughout the course of the season,
Yeah.
you never know, bro. Because like if Montembeault played against like how he played against the Leafs, like throughout the whole season, bro, that could be very dangerous. Because the one thing you need aside from the star defenseman in the Stanley Cup playoffs is also a hot goalie, bro. Hot. But like you need a goalie who's like, you know, that you can depend on and count on. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he's doing in Montreal, bro. Like this guy is just I thought the Leafs were gonna shell these guys like 5-1, 7-1, something like that, bro. Like even though like it was a new system, but like to see like Martin St. Louis has these guys playing a certain way, like, and I seen that, like, there's times he would clog up the middle, or he would make it hard to like enter the zone, or like he would like do certain things and make certain adjustments on the fly, like, and you know, like if Montreal clicks, Dave, like going to what you were saying, and sorry to cut in on you, is that like Montreal, I hate to say it, bro, but yeah, you're on the right track here, bro.
Excuse me, somebody actually listened to me for a second? Shit. Like, I'm scared now. But no, I'm playing. No, it's just, again, like I said, game's got to recognize game in this situation. And unfortunately, that's kind of where I stand with this. But like I said, I do see Montreal as the dark horse team, especially within the Eastern Conference, right? Like, there's just too many young pieces of firepower alone that could potentially do damage given the right motivation. And like I said, with Martin St. Louis and of course Montreal's top line as well, just being a total perennial powerhouse as it is, like I don't see why not in this situation. As for an underperformer right now, like I'm gonna look into the Western Conference here. I'm gonna say, and this is gonna be kind of crazy coming from me, but then again, like when has nothing not crazy ever come out of my mouth? I'm gonna say Vegas in this situation, only because of a couple reasons. Like, I mean, yes, Vegas is just coming off of a Stanley Cup, obviously 3 years ago. They could potentially have the ability to say make some noise, but also at the same time, it's like Avery mentioned earlier, with the volatility of the Pacific, anything can happen in that division. It's extremely unpredictable in that situation, and like I can't really say like, you know, Vegas could be like the be all end all pick for that particular division as well, because like obviously if Calgary comes back, or if Edmonton can come back from the dead and potentially go on another run, that could win them a Stanley Cup more than likely. Like, you have to take those factors in as well. And like obviously Jason's looking at me all crazy and shit right now, but like ideally speaking, like I do potentially seeing Vegas, like even though they're very, very strong atop of the Pacific Division right now. I do see them as, like, say, a potential underperformer, only because of the fact that, like, what they signed, they signed Ilya Samsonov during the off season as well, and like he has been proven to be a great goaltender, but like he's a little bit shaky at times. Can also see the decline of, like, say, certain players within Vegas, like, for example, Alex Petrangelo, Braden McNabb, of course, Jack Eichel, of course, can obviously still dish it out left, right, and center. But I don't know. Like, there's so many variables with Vegas as it is, and it's just like, can you see them potentially do the same damage that they could, say 2 years ago when they finally won the cup against a very young Panthers team? Very hard to say. So, and I noticed by, like, the deadpan silence right now, it's like, is David actually talking craziness right now, or is he actually speaking some truth? And
no, I see, and I agree here with you again, and I'll explain why. We have, like, a theme of, like, what we're talking about. We're talking about, like, star defensemen. We're talking about good goaltending. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about what it takes to win a Stanley Cup, right? And although Vegas has the star defensemen, they don't have the star goaltending. So I agree with you there, sir. I agree.
There's always a but in that situation, so please just come out with it.
Not at all. I agree. I totally agree, bro. Like, they have Thomas Hertl. He scored his first goal. They have the veterans over there. They have a great decor, but you need that star goaltending, bro. The teams that we've been talking about so far, you know what I mean, are missing. Me saying Dallas is missing the star defender. You saying Vegas is missing the star goaltender. So we're on the right path today, bro.
And with Vegas, now this is a team that's had a lot of hard miles on them. This is a team that's been through the trenches, going to a cup final, playoff runs, but also too, William Karlsson, he was banged up, and William Karlsson is not a guy who's had to deal with many injuries as a Golden Knight. And I've been very much a Golden Knight stan in terms of what they've done since they've entered the league. But if guys like Karlsson are getting banged up, and a team that's been through a lot with guys like Zach Whitecloud, you mentioned, guys like Shea Theodore, Mark Stone. This is a team that's been through a lot, and I think they're going to be a playoff team, but I'm not sure how far they can go in that division again, because we know that the West can be chaotic, and so can the Pacific, but that's a team that's got a lot of hard miles on them. So I don't know if they are going to be a team that can get to a round two. I'm not sure about that, Dave. So I'm not saying, so your take, Dave, isn't all that absurd to say. It's going to be a tough struggle it's going to be a tough slog for you. I know they started the year hot, but can they maintain that pace going forward come game 50, 60, 70, whatever? And I don't know. There's a lot of hard miles on that roster.
Honestly, I don't know. I like, part of me feels like if I'm actually right about this, then, like, I should probably, like, put some money down for a lottery ticket right now, because, like, this has me just highly scared.
Yo, Lotto Max Dave now.
Lotto Max Dave. I need the numbers.
These nicknames lately. It's Playboy Dave, Badman Dave, fucking Lotto Max Dave. Like, what is this?
This guy. This guy's too much. No, but I think we're all on the right trajectory today still. Like, I feel that vibe, like, with the teams Avery picked, like the Tampa Bay, like, I didn't even get to touch on that, but just to drop some points on the Tampa Bay situation, like, Avery touched on most of them, but yeah, they have the goaltending. Do they have the star defender? I think they traded away the star defender over to Utah. They're missing that piece. They're banged up. They don't have the leadership of Stamkos anymore. He went to Nashville because they decided to pay Jake Grunsel. He has a championship pedigree, but he's no Steve Stamkos, in my opinion.
No.
Great hockey player, but no Stamkos.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I totally agree with that part. Like, they had to get rid of Tanner Jeno that had to have been like the worst hockey trade in NHL history. They paid like
My man was a
15
cancer.
picks, 15 draft picks, and they didn't even do shit. He
My
came
man
to
was a
Tampa Bay.
cancer
He got
when
his
it came
ass
to Tampa
kicked.
Bay.
Yeah, he got his ass kicked, and then that was it. That was the end of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Where is he now?
he went to LA, but now LA becomes more of a threat with him there now. Like they're just dangerous, right? Because LA got rid of Pierre-Luc Dubois' contract, right? So they brought in Tanner Jeannot, you know, and they did some things out there. But yeah, going back to Tampa Bay, like that makes the most sense. And I think Avery played it safe. He said Seattle. Seattle's a safe play because Avery, if you guys were listening last year, Avery and I like thought Seattle was gonna do damage, you know, and they did. You know, they actually got the spot and they did damage. So like, you know, shout out to them still. Like, I think they're gonna sneak in there and do some damage the way they're built. Like I said, they added the one thing that you need to win a cup, as well as the goaltending they have. But I believe adding that piece that they added from Tampa, Sergachev, was one of the best things they could have did out there in Utah, because now he brings that championship pedigree over there, right, to put with those pieces. So yeah, like Sergachev went to Utah. Sorry,
Utah, yes.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Brandon Montour. Forgive me.
Montour, man. Montour's in Seattle.
My brain exploded there for a second, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Brandon Montour coming from Florida over to Seattle makes that, and you have Adam Larson and Oleksiak back there to shore up that decor, like, you know what I'm saying, with the forwards that they have out there going, Jared McCann, and Matthew Beniers. Like, these guys have that goal scoring ability, and they know what needs to be done out there. So I do see them doing a lot of damage as well.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned guys like Chandler Stevenson, Vince Dunn, who are now in Seattle, like, and you have Shane Wright. Like, this is I do think that Seattle finds a way in the Western Conference to get back to the postseason after the down year last season in the West.
Yeah, well, definitely, man. And Shane Wright, I think, is gonna break out. Like, they should have just sent him down first for a couple years and then brought him up, instead of go down, because that kind of messes with the psyche a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I think he's gonna break out this year for sure. Shane Wright.
All right, and then of course, even though we're a week late on this, everybody's favorite segment: who's winning each division and who's potentially going to the Cup final. Jason, I'll start with you.
You already know I don't want to even say it, because every time I say it, like, some shit happens. So I'm not saying it. I'm just gonna tell you, like, who I think we're gonna play without saying it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do from now on. That's how I'm gonna have to do it.
Okay, so obviously, excluding the Leafs in the Atlantic.
Yeah, you said it this time. I didn't say it. You said it.
Okay, excluding the Leafs in the Atlantic, who else do you see as division winners coming out as of April?
Who do I see as division winners coming out? Okay, let me see. So I'm not gonna say one. We've already established that. I'm definitely not gonna say one. I like the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say about, like, the Pacific, though, because it's just like, it's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get slaughtered for saying this.
Oh no!
I'm gonna get so slaughtered. I like the Canucks.
Bomboclat. What?
Yeah. I don't want to. I could talk about why. I'll say one name. Jake DeBrusk is gonna make those guys so much better. That guy he's a gem. Dallas Stars, I'm gonna say. They're gonna do enough to do what they need to do, for sure. Dallas Stars. Let me see. My wild cards. I'm gonna stick with Ottawa for sure. I'm gonna stick with Calgary as a wild card too. I like that. Hot start.
Okay.
Hot start. Hot start. And I think they have the right pieces in place too. They could just get the goaltending that they need. I think they'll take a wild card for sure.
Okay.
Oh, Canada.
That was good. That was proper. That was proper.
Who's going to play in the finals? Edmonton's going to definitely be on one side.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And I'm not saying the other team on the other side.
Yo, this man's refusing. Now the boycott.
Avery, let's get your thoughts.
All right, my division winners. So I am gonna go in the divisions. I am gonna go and say Edmonton will win the Pacific Division, and then I'm going.
Now you're talking crazy.
Hey, again the most volatile division in all of hockey is the Pacific Division, and the door is gonna be open for them to get in there. In the Central, I am gonna say it'll be a safe pick in the Central. I do think that is still Dallas Stars' division. That is still gonna be the Dallas's take. The Atlantic, this is gonna be one where I am gonna say I do think now. I think this is gonna end up being to me a battle between I think Boston Toronto, but I think Toronto does win the Atlantic in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Metro, I am gonna say New York Rangers win the Metropolitan Division. And my wild cards, I'm gonna say Ottawa is one of the wild cards, and other one, I'm gonna say even though yes they are an older, slower team, I think this is gonna be the last stand for the Penguins. I think the Penguins find a way to get in there as wild card 2 in Eastern Conference. How's that for a surprise? Yeah, I think the old men in Pittsburgh find a way to just sneak it as wild card 2.
Hold on.
Pittsburgh, bro.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Wait. Jason, I know you want to say this, but give me a second here. I'm going to ask you this question right now. Who does Pittsburgh knock off in order to get that last wild card spot? Washington, Carolina, or the Islanders?
I'm gonna honestly say it's the Capitals. I think it's the Capitals that knocked off.
Well, Avery, you're a genius sometimes. Washington, I believe, has one of the top 5 back ends in the NHL right now, bro. Washington?
Yeah. Talking about the Capitals, I'm not sold on Washington. I'm just not sold on. I do think Ovi does again. I think the big 3 is Ovi threatening Gretzky's record, but I don't know. I'm just not sold on the Capitals being that good this year. I could be dead wrong in a few months, but that's my take.
Yeah. Okay, what about in the West?
In the West, my wild cards in the West. So I'm going to say Utah, wild card spot in the West. Mm-hmm. And then other wild card spot for me, I think the other wild card spot is going to go to the LA Kings in the wild card too.
Okay. I agree. I somewhat agree with those picks. I can't say I agree with all of them.
I like the Kings getting a wild card. I like that.
Yeah.
Team Byfield.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And then what's your potential final?
All right, potential final. I called it last year for the Hockey News. I didn't get it. I'm going to stand by it again. It's going to be for me. And I know this chat. I'm going to hear the boos. I'm going to hear the cat calls from the listeners. But it's going to be Cup Final, Edmonton, and the New York Rangers in the Cup Final.
Go suck your blood clot.
Rangers, here's my thing with the Rangers. I understand that we're playing the game for money, right? You want to get money, right? But if I was playing the game, I'd want to get a ring. And I think what's going to be the downfall of the Rangers, Avery, is this whole goaltending contract situation, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want to get the max money, but at the end of the day, you want to win a cup. Put your team. I'm not saying like you have your price. Okay, you have your price. In order to get your price, take this for now. Let's see if we can add at the deadline to improve in weaknesses, and let's try to win a championship. Then that mindset is missing from one of the best goalies in the NHL right now, in my opinion. And I think that's going to be their downfall, sir.
Oh, we will see. I mean, we will see. And for the record, yes, and for the record, my Rangers are my Metro pick. But we will definitely see. But you know what? I understand you don't want to get yours because you don't know what can happen in a career. But it'll be interesting. It'll interesting to see how that turns out because I do still think New York has the pieces, even with that, to go deep in the Eastern Conference. So we'll see.
Yeah.
No, they do. No doubt about it, bro. They did damage last year. They just couldn't find a way to win when they needed to win.
Yeah.
That's all it was. But they have the pieces. Now they have that hunger to go back now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, legit. Definitely legit.
Okay, so y'all ready for this? Because it's my turn now, and this shit's about to get crazy.
Uh-oh.
My division winners, of course. Atlantic, obviously, you gotta go with the Leaf then, although it'll be an extremely close one, because I do see Boston potentially sneaking their way through, trying to take over first in the Atlantic. I also see Montreal potentially trying to grab that third spot, but they're going to make things extremely interesting for Toronto and for Boston as well. Metro, I do see a toss-up between, say, New York and potentially Philadelphia. If Philadelphia can find a way through, I mean, it's New York's to lose at this point, and if New York doesn't grab it, I'd say Philadelphia would probably be your perennial contender for the Metro. In the West, hands down, it's got to be Dallas. If Dallas fucks up, then it's like, what are you doing in this situation? And then in the Pacific, I'm gonna go a little reckless here and potentially say Seattle would take it over, say, Vegas and LA. LA would probably be a close second. Vegas would probably be like your second or your third place team. Regarding the volatility of everything, your wild cards obviously, and this hurts my soul saying this. In the East, it's Ottawa. I'm gonna piggyback off of what Avery said, and I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh as well to see.
All right, not so tall. Now you go with my play, eh? Not so spicy now, is it, Dave?
No. Like here's the thing. Like I see Sidney Crosby doing one more magical thing, and obviously like watch like last day of the season, it'll probably be like Pittsburgh, Washington, and like Pittsburgh, like Crosby knocks off Ovechkin one last time in order to, essentially establish himself as basically the better man between the two of them. Even though it's already been like, Crosby's already running away with shit. I do see Pittsburgh in Ottawa finding their way through as wild card spots, and like if depending on how New York and potentially Toronto end up in the standings, it's like you could see a Crosby Matthews matchup in the first round. Could see like an Allmark Shesterkin matchup also between like the Rangers and the Senators. It's like it'd be crazy if you could see a potential like Toronto Ottawa Eastern Conference final, which has never happened in this lifetime. So that'd be outright insane. In the West, like my wild cards would have to definitively be Calgary and Edmonton. Simply because it's like Edmonton, obviously, of course, still getting over the hangover, and of course Calgary sneaking in as well, taking that wild card spot off from, say, like a Vancouver or an Anaheim, or even like, say, a Winnipeg or even Nashville, right? Like I could potentially be seeing that happening, and of course with the passing of Johnny Gaudreau, obviously that's a motivator not only for for Calgary, but also Columbus. But Columbus won't. Columbus could very well just be at the bottom of the standings again in the Eastern Conference. But like I do see Calgary kind of like say rallying off of that and trying to find their way into like a deep shock Cinderella run in the playoffs. As for the Cup final, I'm gonna say LA Toronto. I don't care. I really don't care at this point.
Man said he wants revenge, bro.
Of course, I want revenge. Fuck that shit.
Man, yo,
man said
LA Toronto.
He wants revenge for the high stick, bro. I need revenge for the high stick in '93 on Doug Gilmour. You want it in blood, huh?
My last point.
Lots of blood in my right. Oh, like
my last point on that before you sign off for the afternoon is, NHL geography was very funny 30-ish plus years ago because we had a Western Conference final of Toronto and LA.
And the fact that like now you have Toronto in the East and LA still in the West, and it's just like, how about that? You see another Ontario, California, and then no, this isn't some geographical bullshit where like say the city of Ontario in California. It's like no, the province of Ontario and the state of California squaring off once again in the Big Four. Like, obviously you want to see it happen. Ideally, if things had played out kind of like they did for the Raptors, it was like state of California, like say state of Northern California, and then of course got Southern Ontario. Southern Ontario kind of overcame Golden State and all of its prowess and won their first NBA title. Whereas like say the Leafs could potentially win their first Stanley Cup in say 57 years over a very young, very shocking, and like say I guess a very aggressive like Los Angeles Kings team.
Yo, bro, Bettman won't let that happen because of like Kendrick and Drake. Bettman is not gonna let that happen.
Wait. What kind of foolishness is this now?
That's crazy.
Not gonna let that happen.
Yo, walk the show off now, Dave. What kind of
I think I'm about to cut this off right now.
Talk about Kendrick. All right, man. All right.
Jesus, man.
I had to drop it in, bro. Like it was.
Yo, honestly, like you
gotta make it about Kendrick and Drake. Yo, this is how you know we've gone for too long. Where Jason's trying to talk about Batman care about the Kendrick and Drake beef. Yo, what kind of
this man's really out here, eh? Like, damn. Like,
Batman would be like, nah,
because if Toronto has to deal with like you go into the playoffs and it's like Toronto has to deal with fucking Sidney Crosby, right? And then you go into round 2, it's like Toronto has to deal with Montreal, and then if things work out, then Toronto has to deal with Ottawa, and then Toronto has to deal with LA just because of the Kendrick Drake beef after the fucking Super Bowl. It's like, that's not happening.
Again, I want to know why Jason thinks a man from New York gonna care about no Kendrick and Drake beef. Yo, I don't like it. I was singing about this man Jason thinks Gary's in the office singing, they don't like us. They don't like us. Man.
Yo, Jason, you're wild for that one, man.
I try to take a page out of your book, bro.
We're out of pocket for this one.
Yeah, one time I had to drop that. But no, I'm just saying, like, it would be good for hockey still, because LA is growing. You know what I'm saying? As far as hockey goes, you know what I'm saying? You have the Kings out there, you have the Sharks out there. You know what I'm saying? So like, it would be good still. Like, you know what I'm saying? It'd be good to see that. It would be good to see that.
If hockey really found a way to make it work, and probably and it is stupid for me to say this, like play off of the whole hip hop beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, right? hockey and hip hop could be a very good marriage going down.
It is, bro. Have you ever seen when Snoop commentated on the hockey game?
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was insane. They put him in the video.
Yeah, he's an NHL. Oh, the NHL 22, NHL 23 suits in.
You hear this?
Here's the messed up thing. Like, here's a genuine messed up thing. It's like when it comes to hockey, it's like black people really don't have the ability to actually be able to enjoy it because of Honky McGee out in like fucking rural Pennsylvania, so basically cursing the fact that black men are actually watching a game instead of little young black girls. But then again, I digress. At the same point in time, you got like kids from like fucking like the state of Tennessee who were playing hockey at an HBCU for the first time, which is absolutely stellar. But then you'll have like, bro. But then you'll have some buckwheat motherfucker out in Georgia saying,
"Oh boy," and I'm out of pocket. You guys talking about buckwheat?
But I do get Dave's point because you're gonna have like when it was announced that Tennessee State was gonna have a team next year, there was the whole those people talking about these black people want to play hockey, dude. I'm threatened, and it's Tony in Thunder Bay, the insurance salesman who's 71 years old, who hockey. Shut up, man.
Avery, you're killing me right now, bro.
Oh, really? Like, no, I don't go off the rails now, but
no, you're speaking the truth.
No. Any level of these guys.
This works.
Why are you so scared? Like, why are you why is Barry in Brandon, Manitoba so scared when he sees Quentin Byfield? Why are you shook? What is your problem, sir?
He's scared because he feels like he's got to be one of those hockey players that actually steals his daughter, and it's like his daughter's like,
nah, that's not it. That's not it, bro. Let's.
I mean, that's not it, but like, that's probably what his thinking is.
Well, yeah, that's probably his mindset, but they're scared of the fact that there are people that come from different places in the world that are coming into their territory and starting to take over their territory, and they don't like that.
They're not like us.
They're not like us. They're not like us. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, I don't have a favorite in that beef. You know what I'm saying? I don't pick no sides. I'm not picking and choosing. But yeah, the song was hard. Still, I'm not even gonna lie. The song was hard. My bad, guys.
No. That was perfect. That was perfect. But like I said, like you got buckwheat from Georgia out here. Buckwheat from Georgia. You got Barry from Brandon, Manitoba.
Yeah, man said Manitoba. Who's from Barry? Barry from Barry?
No, I'm from Brandon, Manitoba. He's from Thunder Bay.
Okay, all right. You know what? We jumped off the rails way too.
Yeah. We did.
All right. I'm gonna cut this off right now. But like I said, Leafs and Kings in the top fight. All right, fuck it. Anyways, Avery, Jason, this was a lot of fun. Obviously it was a very short but very sweet episode. So thank you guys for coming through and spending your Thanksgiving Monday with me. To all you out there, thank you for letting us grace the space in between your head top. We will be back later this week for another taping of the Third Intermission podcast. Just want to say thank you very much to our friends over at Podbean for letting us do this. And of course, we want to thank you, the listener. Of course, we know it's a holiday, but at the same point in time, just if you're enjoying your turkey, you're drinking your water, you're drinking your red stripe or whatever blood clot thing you do, just make sure you do it safe and make sure you just keep it peaceful out there. So once again, just thank you for taking the time to listen. You can subscribe on the socials at Ronald Third. Just where to find us. And of course, if you want to subscribe to us and give us a listen, we always love that. Always check out Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Podbean, or basically wherever somebody else is listening off of some goddamn tick. Anyways, for Avery and Jason, this is your boy Dave signing out. And until next time, deuces. Make sure you drink 2 liters of water a day.